Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Market, where every day we discuss all things to do with the market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, the AI market, the commodities market. We're expanding, guys. Our horizons are having to get bigger, and it will continue into 2026. But either way, we will be figuring out how to make some or a lot of money on the internet. Loaded up for discussion today. We've got volatile price action in tight range on Bitcoin and ETH in particular. Around the largest monthly decline for inflation posted in the US. We'll discuss what those data points mean. We'll also talk about Solana deep-in project Fuse Energy announcing a $70 million Series B funding round. It's pretty significant. And then finally, PayPal and USDai announced partnership to enable future of AI infrastructure procurement by backing USDai with PayPal USD. So a lot of interesting stuff to talk about today. We'll also do some general market chat and some final sentiment checks as we head into what is today the final show of the year for us as we go off into our Christmas break. Any final plans and portfolio thoughts, refreshing, we will discuss. And then we'll get into the main headlines and all the usual good conversation. But just a reminder, friends, nothing that we say here is financial advice. The market is very, very risky. We do not know anything for sure, so please do proceed with caution and exercise your own judgment at all times. With that out of the way, it's Friday. It's 19th December. Bread, how are you doing? How are you feeling?
Coming right to me. Things are good. We just launched the Frontier Net yesterday for Mega, so
You did?
I'm able to breathe a little bit because I coordinated mucho of it, which is, so yeah, I just kind of like crossed the finish line there. But now it's just entering the next phase, and for people who are listening, don't understand what that is. So it's like every main chain or every chain that launches goes through a phase where they act like they don't exist, but they exist. And that is like several months typically, where it's like, hey, infrastructure providers are on, apps are building, doing stuff. But everyone's like, does the chain exist? What's going on? And all of a sudden, day one, it's there's like 30 apps, there's 100 apps, there's a million apps, whatever, the infrastructure is there. That shit just takes time. So we're going to open up that phase and openly talk about it. So apps are starting to deploy as of yesterday, but we also enabled stuff like Dune, Grow the Pie, like all these things. So you can actually go to some native dashboards and like track our progress. Even our block explorer is open. You go look at stuff and see how it's progressing, track things down. It's just that the chain itself is in a permission state. So only teams that we have given permission are able to actually deploy to the chain. We filter everything else out at the RPC level. So yeah, we're progressing. It's fun. It's exciting for it to be a little more real. And yeah, that's been my days.
And maybe just one question on that, Bread, from a personal perspective as we head into the Christmas season. How are you maybe personally attacking the break in inverted commas? Some people maybe take some time off. Maybe we'll hit from each of us like how we're attacking this break, how we're refreshing, revitalizing, to what extent we're even doing any of those. How are you kind of thinking about it?
Yeah, I mean, things are undoubtedly going to be slower. Like the reason we even got to where we are is because, external teams are like, bro, code freeze for all of December. It's like we literally can't do anything. So we had to rush some stuff to like make sure, certain components were in place for them at certain dates. We did all that. We'll still be here. We'll be working. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff to be done. But it will be a lower lift just because people naturally take off, and my girlfriend will be home, so I'll be able to spend time with her. We're going to go do some stuff. We have stuff planned for obviously Christmas and around Christmas. But honestly, not much changes for me. I like my routines. I'm going to get up. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to still hop on my computer and read my stuff, talk on Slack.
Will you be up at 4 a.m. on a Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Since you like
honestly, maybe. Honestly, maybe. Yeah. Close to it. It's like it's useful time for me for a global team. Like half the team's in Dubai with you guys, which is like a full 12 hours. It's 4 p.m. there for you,
Yeah,
right?
that's wild.
So like that's even already a little late in the day for them to be working. So
Sure.
It's useful for me. Yeah.
Stick at it. Works for us. Means you'll be just still going at it come January, not getting out of the routine. So I'm happy to hear that. Ledge, what about you? How are things your side? Last show of the year. Do you want to look back? Do you want to look forward here? Maybe Bread's looking forward. Why don't you do a little look back any thoughts as we kind of come towards the close?
You caught me off guard. I prepared a perfect looking forward answer, but now I have to
yes.
look back on the year and be spontaneous about that.
Good.
It's been a crazy year. It's been a crazy successful year. I try to process a bit of everything that has happened in my personal life and all of the things that I'm doing, which is not only the show, but so many more things. And it's hard to believe that this is it. Like, it's 12 more days and the year's over. And I can't do the whole like backward looking thing now because I'm still reflecting on so many of these things. But I realized that I feel a bit like in sort of a transition period, and I feel like a bit lost of what I want to make out of 2026. And I'm not one to make New Year's resolutions and shit like that. Of the opinion, if you want to do something, then do it. You don't need a new year, a new week, a new month, a special occasion to do that. But just given the nature of things, that it is a more quiet period, it is time where I also have, well, I have the patience, I have the time, I have the resources to basically plan ahead and strategize and kind of figure out what my priorities should be, or what things I want to focus on for 2026. One of the big things which I had mentioned on the show is definitely the curiosity to learn new things. I feel like I've been a bit stagnant on that over the last couple of weeks and months, and the market has not really been challenging me to learn new things and to basically branch out and venture out. And that's definitely going to be something, but I do want to drill down on that and kind of find out what I want to build some expertise on over the next couple months or so running into 2026.
You know, I've got the itch. So talking about the building stuff, I'm seeing a lot of stuff getting spun up with AI. And I think AI is like now at the juncture where you can actually like make significant leaps with basically anything. If you give it time and energy, it'll be there to coach you. If you just have the free time to like actually go back and forth with what you want to do, it'll give you the instructions, it'll help you learn, like whatever. And like on deeply technical things, deeply advanced things, mostly things that you can actually create with your hands. I like creating things. I was always like, that's why I draw a lot. That's why I always like building, doing. I had a lot of DIY shit that I did back in my old place. But I've never felt comfortable or had the patience or was able to like actually grasp all of like the deeply technical, like literally building like applications and things, right? Like understanding the nuance of this stuff, just because it's tough. Like I can understand technical concepts. I don't understand like strict typing versus whatever and optimizing the code. Like it sucks, right? But like I'm feeling tempted, and once I hit another free stretch of my own time to like actually try to like just like sit down and fucking build some shit like with AI, force myself to like try to like build some apps, build some whatever. Because I think we're to the point now where you can do that.
I really like that idea. And you say you like building stuff, Brad. You actually do have, but you are maybe reserved a little bit because you don't have like, I don't know, some of the technical knowledge, and you have more technical knowledge than most, right? I'm even more removed from that technical understanding, I think. But I would love, or it would be amazing if the AI can plug the gap for me. And like one of the things I was discussing with Legendary yesterday was a couple of things that we want to build. One, there's like a website that we need to build, and it's like, can AI enable me to build the website as a no code person? But also, like, am I able to like pull data from different places? Can I make this more of like a live dashboard? And as we try to consider to give people, to allow people to see through our eyes and look at the things that we look at, because we look at a lot of data points that other people are not looking at. And that's how I think we've been so successful in feeling the market back in January when we exploded up and then crashed down. And we felt the market in the summer and September is like, okay, this is getting a bit frothy. Also, there's like multiple data points we're looking at across, not just on-chain transactions, but also some metrics on Twitter and YouTube and things like that. It's like, I wonder whether I would be able to do that now. Whereas
100%,
yeah.
I would, if I were you, I would play around with Bolt.nu. Bolt.nu is a no-code AI builder to build web apps. You can even deploy from there. I've used in the past to build a couple of things I find helpful. And what you will like about that is it's now integrated with Figma. And if you remember, our whole rebranding thing has a Figma.
Yes.
So you can basically plug that Figma in and tell it to work with these designs and be like, build me a website based on that, build me a web app that is scraping, I don't know, some data from Doom, whatever stuff you're interested in. It's it's pretty smooth. You basically talk to it like you talk to ChatGPT, and it's going around and building the stuff for you. It's definitely more accessible than Cursor or other things because it's purely web-based. And I would feel like this is a good first start to do that. Now, with that being said, the other thing that I'm looking into right now, very completely underrated, is Notebook LM, which is one of the apps that comes in the Gemini package if you are a Pro subscriber. And what you can do there, so basically, you know, Brett has said perfectly, you can talk to an AI and you can use it to educate about whatever you want. But obviously, there's like limitations to that. There are some hallucinations that can come up. With Notebook LM, you can also upload stuff to it. You can upload technical documentations, books, materials, PDF, whatever you want, and basically have that as its knowledge base that it trains you on or digests for you. So you could pick whatever topic you find interested and just upload books, papers, whatever is interesting there, and have it learn and educate you on that, quiz you on that, which it does in a very, very structured way, which I like quite a lot. It gives me a bit more certainty in topics where I literally have zero knowledge, to not run into the flaws of like taking over wrong concepts because my AI started to hallucinate at some point.
Interesting.
Hold the phone. You said that was as a Gemini thing?
Yeah. Notebook LM.
Yeah, I just looked it up because like I'm a Gemini Pro. I got the Pixel. Like I'm deeply embedded in the Google thing, so I have all that shit. I'm surprised I did not come across this, and now I have a new toy.
See, there you go.
Christmas present for you. Okay, we got an interesting show today. We've got a lot of things to talk about. We've got the usual headlines. We've also, let's do a little bit of a portfolio reflection again. No, we did a little one yesterday. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our audience. I want to say thank you for joining us on the long journey that has been this year. It's been a crazy year if you think back. Maybe just a quick shout out to the Twitter commentors. Led, you've got the YouTube comments up, but people like Funky always commenting in the comments, encouraging people to share the space. Rocky, always resharing the space as well. The Aspiring Nobody, who literally comments every single day. GM Modern Market, every day. I'm sure Corona as well, always resharing. So I just want to say thank you to all the people who are routinely sharing and commenting and being present. Ledge, I don't know, you're looking at the YouTube comments a little bit more than me. Anyone there that is always on your mind?
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be Overarch. It's going to be just Stefano. It's going to be Mikhail, Francisca. English for sure. English always on the mission to make one of us chuckle on the show, and doing that quite successfully. Brooklyn, State of Mind, commenting, best daily love stream. Francisca is getting emotional, saying it's the last show of the year. Super sentimental. And love all the live research contributions that we have as a result of that. Basically, when we speak Hyperliquid, we have the Hyperliquid experts. Trafi HL comes to mind, piling in, sharing knowledge, helping us out there. So all of that, very, very much appreciated. And obviously, the people who join us on stage almost every day. That is Funky, that is Oxy, who are with us basically 4 out of 5 days, if not 5 out of 5 days.
Indeed. Yep, absolutely. And by the way, Trafi, seen your message in the Modern Market DMs. There's a few of you who have reached out. We've got like an issue with Modern Market DMs at the moment on X, where some of us can access it, some of us can't. We're going to work through them as usual to get you into the Telegram chat. Can't wait to get you in. Hopefully we'll get that resolved in the next few days or next week. So looking forward to welcome you in there. And as I said, thank you so much for being with us, guys, over the course of the year. It's been an incredibly fun year. It's been an incredibly successful year. We hope it continues to be valuable for you in 2026. We've got some huge plans in 2026 and can't wait to get to them with you. So let's hit the show as usual, but just want to shout out today our partners, Yeet. Yeet, we're excited to be sponsored by Yeet. Every Friday, the crypto casino has done more than $1 billion in less than a year, founded by trusted names like Mando, KBM, and poker player Ben Lamb, where users of the site, legendary, famously known as Limbo GCR, is very active over there. So it felt like a very natural partnership. A reminder to only gamble for fun and what you're comfortable with. And to help there, we are giving out $500 each week randomly to players active under the Modern Market affiliate link, which Legendary will put in the comments. So do check Yeet out. They have a number of crypto themed games and their sportsbook just launched. So stay tuned for our giveaway at the end of today's show. There's also a little bit of a twist today because there are more details, there's more competitions, more things up for grabs. So we'll detail that a little bit later in the show. So stay tuned, as well as the $500 giveaway. So let's get into it as usual, starting with the price action. We have Bitcoin. It's just at 88, but gosh, this price action on a day-to-day basis is pretty volatile. Legendary will break it down in a sec. Up 1% to 88K. ETH is up 3% to almost 3K after being whipsawing around yesterday again around this inflation data. BNB is up 1% to 847. XRP is flat at $1.90. Sol is up a couple of percent to 125. Hyperliquid, gosh, it dipped as low as 22 yesterday, down 17% in the week, but now it's back to 24. So a bit vulnerable there. Doge is up, Dogecoin is up a couple of percent to 12 cents. Pepe is up 1% as well. Pengu is more or less flat. SPX up a couple of percent. Pippin, on the other hand, while that's been up quite a lot in general, is down 20% on the day. Fartcoin's up 5%. So a bit of a bounce here across the memes. Rect is up a couple of percent. Nothing really to write home about there, though, necessarily. Getting into the headlines themselves that we're going to talk about today, we're going to be talking about volatile price action in tight range for the majors, specifically around this US inflation number coming out as one of the largest monthly declines. Trying to discuss, is this real? Is it not real? Are the government just making things up? There's definitely been some suggestions that that is what's happening at the moment. So we'll try to get to the bottom, bit of a bottom of that in a moment. Solana Deepin project Fuse Energy announces $70 million Series B funding. That's pretty significant. Curious for Brad to break that down in a bit. And then finally, PayPal and USDai announced a partnership as well. We'll touch on that towards the end of today's show. Monad has continued its decline to 1.7 bill FDV. Interestingly, Zcash is looking pretty strong here relatively. I mean, it's still down big from where it was, but it's showing a little bit of strength here, up 5% to $416. Wanted to point that one out. As Brad mentioned at the top of the show, MegaETH announced Frontier is open for builders, so apps can now deploy and test. Bitwise has filed for SUI ETF. Superstate announced that Forward Industries, a Solana DAT, has tokenized its stock on Sol. Xstocks launches securities platform within the Tom wallet. If you think about it, if you take one step back, a lot of the news now is stocks coming on chain. That is the probably meta headline over the last few weeks, over the last few months. And maybe that's causing some of the price action because now all of these tokens are in competition with each other. Stocks are just another token on chain, but usually with better revenue than some of the crypto ones. United Stables launched as native stablecoin on BNB. It's also available on ETH. Hyena, the Ethena DEX on Hyperliquid, raised its vault cap to 20 mil and it was filled in minutes. And finally, and they're running quite aggressive incentives at the moment. I think you can get up to 20% by being long. Like you can get paid to be long at the moment in Hyena. I saw that somewhere. It's worth double clicking on that if you want to use some leverage and do that. It might be a decent place to trade for the moment. And then finally, Disney's Mickey and Friends have 5,000 digital toys on sale now via Cryptoys. That is the roundup, guys. Before we get to the main headlines, curious for what we want to pick out here that's catching our interest and attention. Coming to you first, Brad. Anything catching your attention or any further reflections as we come towards the end of the year?
So I'll do two things. One, I'll start the Hyena stuff. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wouldn't call it a DEX so much as it just uses USDE as a creative way to interact with Hyperliquid, right? Like it's almost very similar to, or has rings of Blast, and that in a good way, right? Blast had native yield, and because of native yield, you're able to unlock a lot of like UX things that made things better. What Hyena is doing is it's basically Hyperliquid denominated in USDE because it's denominated in the Athena assets that have some yield to them. You can offset things like fees. So it's like a zero fee trading on Hyperliquid because you're subsidizing the fees with the yield that you would have with the underlying asset. So that's actually pretty interesting. I want to see how that's being adopted. I want to track it a little bit more. I think it's a strong team. I think we've talked about that, where we think Guy and just the Athena team are class acts, and I think this is a smart thing that they're doing. It proliferates some of their underlying assets, and just like a general improvement to the mechanism people are using. But we will see the moat that is built up by just established capital with USDC denominated stuff on Hyperliquid, right? Because now you have USDC, you'll have USDH, now you have USDE. It's creating a lot of fragmentation,
Correct.
which is not great. But yeah, we will get some insights from it. So I'm watching it closely. I think it's good.
I agree. It's also worth monitoring because I guess one of the things that happens with USDE and the whole Athena ecosystem is it's actually a great number to check the state of the market. When I talk about creating a dashboard and like things that you'd keep an eye on, you want to keep an eye on staked USDE, because as the market went up, the amount of volume, the amount of yield on staked USDE goes up a lot, and therefore people pile into it. And if you had sold the top of staked USDE supply, which was, I think it went as high as 12 bill, was it? You would have exited at the top of the market. And as that started to unwind lower and people started to exit that position, the market, it's kind of tracked it roughly. I can't remember if it's a leading indicator or slight lagging, but the point is watching that number is very, very helpful. And I guess in the Athena ecosystem now as well with Hyena, I think they're running, I don't know who exactly is running the incentives, but there are additional incentives beyond just state the fact that you're earning yield on your USDE. There's like additional incentives on top to go long. So yeah, check those numbers and we'll see the health of the thing once those incentives stop. And there's also incentives being run on talking about the fragmentation, there's incentives being run on USDH right now, where if you're lending USDH on Felix, you get an increased lending rate compared to everything else, which by the way has completely collapsed. Even on Hyperliquid now, you can lend your USDT at like 3%. So that was at a premium for a very, very long time. That rate coming down is just showing you that that everyone's cutting their borrowing. There's no more risk to take. To the extent that you had borrowed against something to then go and buy more hype, there's multiple examples. If you're following the MLM Telegram chat, which you should if you're not, excellent kind of commentator on the Hyperliquid ecosystem. People are really over leveraged. They're having to exit their positions in order to sell, in order to not get liquidated. And I think a lot of people were borrowing and levered up in the Hyperliquid ecosystem, and it's showing that leverage getting wiped now.
It feels like every other day there's a new giga-long whale on hype who is like in jeopardy of being liquidated.
And it's always like a little bit lower than the one that was reported the day before. So it's like when the price was at 28, they're like, oh my God, these guys are really long at 23 and 21. Now we're at 24, then it'll be like, okay, now there's these other people that are really long at 18 or something like that. So it's kind of precarious, I think.
So there's that. No, one more thing. And this is just another flex for myself. So like we talked about the frontier stuff opening. I want to remind people like this lets everyone know how low the bar is and where we sit specifically, right? So we enabled like data, right? So you can go and you can track what's going on MegaETH right now. Literally right now, all we're pushing is our oracles, right? So there's two types of oracles. There's like off-chain, on-chain, right? Off-chain is before the app does anything, it says, hey, give me the price, and it bundles the price with the user transaction, sends both of them into the chain. It's one transaction, right? And then there's a thing called a push oracle, which is an oracle that literally is sending transactions onto the chain to make sure that the price on chain is updated. And that is important because that means smart contracts have access to it, right? So then I can just send my stuff to a smart contract, do a transaction. The smart contract itself will query something else on the chain and say, this is the latest price and this is whatever. All right, so let's just say there's two types of oracles. We have one of our oracles, Redstone, that's live. It's not even pushing max capacity, which is that like it goes every 2 milliseconds to make sure that like lickety split, everything's updated. It's doing it like every 100 milliseconds, which is roughly like 20 times slower than it can actually go. And even just with Redstone, Redstone only, we don't even have apps, we don't have users. We are already the fourth highest throughput chain in the L2 ecosystem. So we're higher than Arbitrum, we're higher than Inc, we're higher than Unichain, we're higher than whatever. So that's without literally anything else. And we're on the heels of WorldChain and OP Mainnet. So the second you open this up to users and actual apps, bro, we're gonna like the difference is it's staggering. And I'm excited to actually like get that phase started.
That is exciting, man. That is very, very exciting. Congrats on that. That's awesome. Ledge, what's going on your side? Anything catching your attention specifically? Do you want to do a bit of a reflection here? You said you prepared a good forward-looking answer for my backwards-looking question. Do you want to look forward a little bit?
Comment on some of the things you guys have been discussing. Okay. On this feeling that every time we see a new whale, the prices are moving a bit lower and lower. And Beanie actually had an interesting, I think it was an interesting post on that. Let me bring that up on screen. Beanie was saying, technically speaking, this chart looks like lower highs and lower lows, but you can't trade crypto on technicals. It's all sentiment driven. And nobody thinks Bitcoin can break 90K because of these fake outs. Nobody thinks a Santa rally is possible. So therefore it will happen. I like this bullish take. I like to see if that is gonna play out. I'm not in disagreement with that necessarily. Then the other thing on everyone being so over leveraged on Hyperliquid, I think now is really the time to not mess around with perps too much, and especially not to mess around with the pre-markets. I don't know if any of you have seen that. What has happened on the MegaETH pre-market yesterday on Hyperliquid? Yes, let me bring it up. It was.
Do I want to see this?
You can close your eyes for that, Brad. No, it's not. It's a brutal one wick which we have seen. So yesterday, basically the pre-market did go from 2.4 bill in a couple hours, or in less than a couple hours. It went to 1.1 bill and then did rebound to 2 bill. So this went as low as its ICO price and did rebound from that. Got people liquidated. There's still a good amount of volume happening in that. This is very, very, very crazy price action. So the pre-markets right now in this environment, and I'm picking MegaETH here because this is the most significant one at the moment, in my opinion, on Hyperliquid when it comes to the pre-markets. A very, very dangerous game to play, and it's one that I'm definitely choosing not to play, and I'm choosing to completely ignore that.
I saw this on the Trade XYZ one too, where over the weekend, like the actual S&P like shot 3%, which is massive, right, for S&P movement, and especially a closed market. So obviously it's not reflective of the real price. I don't know, man. Like I have some PTSD from like I would literally be in my pump short still had I not been hunted, right? Like, and I mean, like, I feel like a conspiracy theory, right? I'm sitting there with the Charlie, got the strings on the board and stuff. Like these MFers are hunting me on this chain because they can see my positions, and I swear to God they're coming after me. I can't prove it, but I swear to God they're coming after me because they can see my positions, and I'm getting increasingly like, I mean, I lost my trading account because of like, you know, because of the market, obviously. But like, I don't know that I want to get back into the waters with an open trading thing because it's just like, bro, it feels like they're fucking hunting me around every corner. Now, that said, conspiracy is also that this is happening in like sexes, right? The thing is like, okay, go to a centralized exchange and then see your shit. Yeah. The centralized exchange is the one doing it there, right? Instead of like everyone. So it's like you're democratizing the whale hunting, which is fine. Like a cool, like everyone can fuck you up here, which is a fair, it's a democratized, but like, I would like to go to a place where no one can fuck me up. That would be the optimal outcome. I don't know if that's the dark pool stuff that CZ is trying to tease, but like, man.
Also, I told you, I want to get back in. Allegedly, not allegedly, but I am pretty sure Silhouette are building that for Hyperliquid. I'm pretty sure.
Correct.
They're a separate protocol. They're pretty cool. We chatted with those guys a little bit some time ago. I think that is the intention of what they want to build. I'm not sure where they are in the development at this point. Maybe that would give you some comfort, Brad, and you can get liquidated in secret if that would make you feel a bit better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to dig into the technicals there because that is, I don't believe it. It's the bro. It's the
trust is gone. Trust is gone.
Well, no, not the trust is gone. It's just like the system is what the system is, right? So it's like You can do quirky things to make it work, but like Hyperliquid is a open public thing. So like if you're going to operate on Hyperliquid, you're going to have to do some weird shit to make it happen. But how do you ultimately put that position on if Hyperliquid, the foundation of what you're trying to build on, does not allow for it, right? So like in that case, you're doing some off-chain shit. You're allowing the same sex like stuff. So
you still have to trust the team who does that, basically.
Exactly.
You just trust another entity. There's no difference in trusting them, trusting CZ, trusting dark pools, whatever they are called.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because you mentioned trade XYZ though, this weird pricing happens even in the biggest sectors. This is the XYZ 100 index, where I also wanted to point out that this has increased in volume so much. We are now speaking about 24-hour volume of 230 mil just a month ago. So we said, oh, that's doing 30 mil. The single stocks are doing 20 mil. And the volume on Trade XYZ, because BU said we have so many pieces of news in the snapshot that just say stocks are coming on chain, and that's competition to our tokens. And this is true. What I'm sharing on screen right now is DeFi Llama, and it is the Perp volume on Trade XYZ on a weekly chart. So start of November, we are looking at a weekly volume of 800 mil, 700 mil. Then towards the end of November, that has increased to 2.2 bill. Then the last week in November, 3.9 bill. First week in December, 4.1 bill. Second week in December, 4 bill. Now the third week's a bit lower, but that's simply a result of the fact that there's still 2 more days to go, so it's not over yet. But this has basically increased from when it came out and did 700-800 mil a week to now doing 4 billion a week.
Yeah, that's real. That's very significant. Glad you brought up that data point, Ledge. Interesting. Okay, I wanted to say, I've got 2 questions for you guys, like put your thinking caps on. Well, one's a statement, and then the other question to give everyone something significant to go away with and think about through the holidays, and then we're going to get into the main headlines. First is a reflection on your point around pre-markets, Ledge. We said this ages ago, right? When Monad came out at like 12 billion, we wanted to short, and I think maybe you did short a bit and then got liquidated, and it was just like it was impossible to get into position, because anything that you got into position on, even if it was the right thing, and obviously now at 1.7, coming out at 12, basically the short would have been great at any point, but you could have got liquidated at any point. Like you could have got in at 9 and got liquidated on a move to 10. You could have got in at 8 and could have got liquidated on a move. Like it was just that kind of thing where you just can't be certain. And maybe the only way, if you want to try and take these things on, is wait for a very specific pump up, and you have to short on that move up rather than short on any move down, because any move down could mean that there's a counter move up before you then go back down. So we've already kind of retired the pre-market stuff, but we saw the crazy action on the XPL pre-market, right? Which blew out all the people who would have been hedging, who had large pre-sale positions. So it's a very precarious market to trade, I think. And also just want to shout out this comment from OX Masood in the Twitter comment saying anyone could get liquidated if stop losses and take profits aren't set correctly. Of course, that is one of the things that you can do that is in your control. Unless, okay, of course, if it's 10-10, and I think maybe none of that stuff worked, but yes, you should at least probably practice that if you're new to this stuff, and get on top of that. And then maybe just a further thought, guys, as we look forward and before we get to the headlines today, is there anything like what's your key? Like this has been a successful year, I would say, for us. Is there a key learning that you're taking away from whether it's the way you have built up your individual presence, whether it's something we've done in the market, whether it's something done in the way that we've built out? Like what's one of the key learnings from the market, from the personal side, that you're taking away and being like, yeah, I want to double down on that moving forward? And is there anything that you think, oh shit, I kind of let myself down in this particular way, and we need to be better either from a trading perspective or in another way next year? So maybe Bread first, and then Ledge before we get into the main headlines today.
Mine is not particularly profound.
Okay.
but it's
sometimes the obvious things are just like, okay, well, that's just obvious, but I just need to actually do it.
I mean, I did it for a reason. So I did the trader arc, the dedicated stuff. And like, I remember like writing the message inside of chat where it's just like, guys, I need to be burned a little bit here. Like I need to give this a little something. And she's like, just let me get burned. It's how my brain works. I need to get hurt. I got hurt. Like I've been hurt a few times in my trading account, and I did learn some lessons. And I think the lesson for me is just that like, one, I can do it, but I need to give it, like it's a job, right? You can't just like willy-nilly play with leverage, do the thing. I started the year and I was like, I'm not touching leverage because people smarter than me say don't ever touch leverage. I started touching leverage. I got burned. But on the journey, I was like, I actually was doing really well. And I was starting to develop systems. I was starting to stay aware of stuff. But like then I started getting distracted with mega work again. I kind of just let stuff sit out there. And every time I did that, every time I entered something and was just like, man, it'll be fine. It was never fine. I literally never was it fine. So like my learning is that one, I'm building up my confidence as like a trader and actually like taking action on stuff. But two, respect the game, because like you have to actually like give it the time and energy. I can't just like flippantly do a thing and then just like fuck off, because it's different than spot. It's very different. You have to be ready to go. You have to develop a system. You have to understand yourself. So like that's my learning. I actually do want to get back into it. Right now I just don't have the time and energy.
I love it, man. I think it's a really, really good learning for you. I would actually argue the positions that you take are great, but you know this as well from your NFT stuff. But your exits, I think you're interested in getting the great position, but you don't close them. Like that's like I think you get excited about being right, because like you are right when you say I think this is going to go up or I think it's going to go down, but then the closing part is like not the fun part to you. I kind of compare this is a bit of a random analogy, but in football, like I used to be like a number 10, which is like the attacking creative midfielder. I used to take a lot of pride in like setting up the goal, but I never actually liked scoring that much. I used to score sometimes, but I was like, okay, whether we win or lose, it kind of doesn't matter. It's like, I just like playing well, I like doing the assists. Yeah. I like running past a lot of people, I like embarrassing people. But like when it actually comes to the closing, I never got that much satisfaction from it. And I don't know, it's like similar kind of analogy. Yeah. Where it's like, I think you're right a lot based on the arc that you went on. I think you were right a lot. But then when it comes to closing, I don't think you get that much satisfaction from the close.
I was green a lot, and then like it was just like one move gone. So it was just like I think I was up on both of my positions upwards of like, I don't know, up like 170% on both of them, and then just like, okay, yeah, just like turn the leverage slider, go to sleep, wake up, do whatever, like, and then just eventually, a couple of cascading events. So like 10-10, I never could have predicted 10-10. Sure. That was just like unfortunate. Cool, it happens, but I was still doing well and in the green. And then, it just got away from me.
I like it. Good learning.
One of the reasons for that is because you did do option tradings, right, Brad?
Yeah.
And they do come with an expiry date, and you don't have this perpetual thing going on. Like you pick the time frame of your bet already, and you're in the money or not, and you don't have this same structure with the infinite nature of our perpetual futures.
Maybe the game is bringing options back on chain, making them cool again.
Make options cool again.
I do want to learn that in 2026. Ledge, what about you?
So I wanted to make a post and, go on how easy it felt to call the tops this cycle. And then I realized that sounds extremely cocky and arrogant. So I didn't proceed with doing that. And I'm going to come up with a longer reflection, because I think one of the most, and we've spoken about that a lot being private, one of the most underestimated superpowers of running a daily show is that we have such an insanely good feeling for the sentiment of the market, just by seeing how the snapshots are progressing, the things we talk about, the concept that you like a lot, B, which is whenever stupid things happen, sell these things. And it felt so natural to understand when the market was overheating and when things got like really, really crazy, when Tom Lee was calling for ETH to basically flip the entire S&P 500 and all these things, which, typically fuel the timeline with excitement, to realize that you reached a certain level of ridiculousness that commands to sell off positions. And that is something where I feel that I did really, really well this year on trading my own positions like that. But that's also something where I feel like with this amount of knowledge, with this amount of sentiment data that we have from simply running a daily show, this has to be used in a more structured way to be even more profitable in that. And the more challenging thing is, in my opinion, then to use this as well to find entry points. Because I feel show is super easy to use to call the tops, right?
Yeah.
And that's maybe it's something that is hard to grasp or understand from an outside perspective if you're not doing this daily. And obviously cannot speak how it is from the perspective of someone listening in daily, if this has the same effect. But from doing it daily, this is how it feels. The more challenging thing then becomes, okay, how do I call a good entry point for, not call it, I'm not an alpha caller on the timeline, but how do I call it for my own trading and portfolio? And doing this in a more structured way is something that I want to basically double down on for next year, because I think this is such an incredible superpower to have by just running the show.
Easy. When the snapshot gets hard to write because there's too much stuff going on, / when I struggle to go to the gym, or when we struggle to, I don't know what your gym schedule is like at the moment, Edge, but mine is a beautiful schedule now post January. And it wasn't always like that. We just have these awesome data points. I swear to God, if you go back in the show and you look at when we were struggling to do the rest of our lives, it's because it was insane and it was time to bid things. And then as soon as it stopped, we were able to go about the rest of our lives. You started playing golf. And you know, if everyone sold everything when Legendary started playing golf, it would have been a beautiful life, I think. So there are all kinds of data points, which I completely agree with you, are really, really meaningful. And the way that I described it to you was like, the market is in our, the way I reflect on it myself, like when you do the research and you do the thing yourself, because by the way, I don't know how other shows do their stuff, but like I do the research myself. Like the market's in my veins because we do the research yourself and then it gets directly disseminated like via the show. And so it just feels different. It feels different. You get an incredible pulse. And, you know, we've done it for a few years now and it feels pretty accurate in the way we've been doing things. But I do agree with you. The entry points, I think, are harder than the top stuff because there's more stupidity at the top and you can kind of look at that objectively. So that's maybe something we're targeting for the new year. Interesting stuff, guys. Interesting stuff. I will reserve any further thoughts because we've only got 12 minutes left and we got a couple of headlines to discuss, which are interesting. And then B, we've got our Yeet $500 giveaway to give away. So let's get to the first headline. I think this is an important one around inflation, Legendary. You know, CPI was low, allegedly. What do we need to know about what's going on with inflation in the US at the moment? What does that mean for price action? How are we thinking about this at the moment?
Perfect segue. You said it. CPI inflation data is unexpectedly low, down to 2.7% over the 12 months to November. That's down from 3% in September. It's way lower than many analysts have expected. However, there is a caveat with that. And the Financial Times once more did a beautiful job in breaking down what is going on. So they are saying 2.7% inflation in November. The Bloomberg polled inflation at 3.1% and actually predicted a rise from the data in September. And many analysts, so also the chief economist at KPMG US, are saying, gotta take it with a grain of salt. There's not a ton of clarity on how some of the data has been put together by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, by the BLS making these decisions. There's data missing. And this is also the reason why the market is reacting to that in a bit of a mixed way. We'll get into the stock side of things in a minute. Yes, market's technically up. Yes, some of the stocks are doing very well again. Crypto is expressing a ton of volatility, with BTC moving a couple of $1,000 basically within a couple of hours. And the key quote for me here is, given the lack of explanation about how the BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, made these decisions, it's hard to take that at face value. It was such a big miss. It's so hard for the market to take the data literally. investors do not want to bet the house. So this is the skepticism that comes with the inflation data. And taking a look at stocks, because I did promise it a couple of seconds ago, it looks pretty green. Nvidia up 2%, Google, Amazon, Meta, Microsoft, all of these are basically up almost 2% or around 2%. Tesla's up a good amount more, 3.5%. The outlier from the tech sector, from the semiconductors, is Micron Technology being up more than 10% on the day. Other sectors are mixed. Other sectors are red. Ultimately, putting this picture together, this leads to the S&P being up around 1%. But even the stocks did see a lot of volatility on that day when the data came out, because nobody seems to fully want to trust it. So yes, we're up, but we're also viewing the inflation data with a fair amount of skepticism.
Very, very interesting. So is there any takeaway here, Ledge, for the main markets from your perspective? Like, there was a lot of talk around kind of tax loss harvesting as we go into the end of the year for crypto, at least because of the wash trading rule. Do you think, what's your view on this? Do you think we just try? I don't get a sense there's much impulse to go in either direction for anything now. But do you have a view over the next couple of weeks?
For me, it's still a wait and see market. There's a couple indicators or a couple of things that we have to look forward to. One of which is a more crypto-friendly SEC chair coming into action next year. Another thing is the ETH Nasdaq 100 ratio, which Garrett has been looking at, and basically saying that ETH is oversold. If you like to look at charts, and saying that reversion from that is inevitable, also pointing out that we will have a more crypto-friendly, not SEC chair, we have a more friendly crypto SEC chair, a more friendly Fed administration, I wanted to say initially, with J-Pow obviously leaving. So for me, it is still a wait and see game, where I want to have inflation data in January. I want to see what the Fed does in January, because if you look at the poly market for that, it doesn't look, can bring that up while I'm speaking, it doesn't look like we're going to see a rate cut in January at the moment. There we go. Currently looks like 75% no change, only 25%, 24% believe in an additional 25 pips decrease. So I'm choosing to basically ignore yesterday's inflation data, chill for the rest of the year. I don't really care if we get a Santa rally or not, because it's just not in the mood to trust and go fully back risk on, and rather use data in January to form a decision of how I will look at the start, not the first couple of months in 2026.
Personally, like that perspective. I mean, this is lesser reading on the market, right? It just feels like it doesn't really know where it wants to go. I don't think anyone has a hyper strong view, at least not for the next couple of weeks. I'm always conscious that sometimes the thing that you want isn't the thing that's going to happen. And it feels like everyone would love to just be able to log off the next couple of weeks and chill and, come back and deal with this stuff in January. Personally, that's what I'll be doing as well. We're still in touch with what's going on. We'll keep on top of it all, but not looking necessarily, unless anything changes, to do anything drastic, I don't think. Brad, do you have a view on the rest of the market before we get into your headline?
I do not. No, been pretty simple on my side. I just it's in my mind, it's clearly in a macro cycle. So it's just and that is something outside of my wheelhouse. I don't claim to have the expertise there or familiarity. So it's just it's now above me. Jesus, take the wheel kind of vibes. Okay.
I think that's fair. What do we got in terms of your headline, Brad? It's pretty big raise amount. This is Fuse Energy. What do we need to know here?
Yeah, it's a big raise amount. It's kind of confusing. So Solana DePIN Fuse Energy announces a $70 million Series B raise. It's a DePIN project specifically around energy. The TLDR, I tried just doing a bunch of research into what it actually is, but the TLDR is just it incentivizes users to move their energy off peak hours, and then it runs an arbitrage on the back end and pays you in a token. That is the highest level I can find. And to me, I'm a little skeptical. And the reason I'm skeptical is because, for the same reason most DePIN projects, where we have teams on side of MegaETH that are raising to do DeepIn stuff, and most investors are very skeptical of DeepIn because none of them have proven to have good tokenomics. They basically infinitely inflate their token as an incentive mechanism to build up something that is then off chain. So like the token itself never gets bid up because it's just constantly inflated, constantly dumped to the people that it's given out to at these edge networks, and then it just goes down only forever. But like the equity on the back end may be a little successful. So this one in particular, I actually clicked through some of this stuff and it was funny because Fuse Energy, like maybe it was in this announcement, maybe it was in the previous one, I can't recall. Someone responded and said, proudly built in the UK. And they're like, you're right. And then if you go and click on the actual profile, it says not intended for UK audiences. So it's pretty hilarious juxtaposition there. Yeah, this account is not intended. Yeah, hilarious. But the project itself, interesting. I'm still like, DeepIn as a category still feels like something that is the most natural fit for me for our technology. It's up there with stable coins. It's up there with just like swapping things broadly, using incentives and tokens to try to recruit the masses to beat over centralized systems. Like it all just makes sense to me. Like, and it's easy for people to grasp. I did the phone stuff. Like I got my mom on that stuff because it actually was a better service. They actually got paid to use it. It's just no one has cracked the sustainability of these actual projects because your biggest product is your token, and you need that to go up along with your actual usage of your network. Or maybe you don't. Maybe like it literally is just like it's good enough as a customer acquisition cost, and that is enough for you guys to bootstrap these systems to beat out incumbents. I don't know, but excited for the category. This one in particular, I'm skeptical of like running that arbitrage and making it sustainable, but I'm willing to listen to it. It's going to Solana, which is seemingly the home for DeepIn stuff. To my knowledge, most of the biggest projects, Hive's over there, Hive Mapper, and Helium's over there. There's a few others. So we'll continue to watch. I like the category.
Really, really agree with the general thinking there, which is DeepIn really, really can make sense. Like it's one of those step changes where you might actually be able to disrupt something real in the real world, like stablecoins. I like that thinking a lot, and they're always doing interesting things. Like it's like the mobile networks. It's all very real energy. I like it. I like it as a concept. I'm conscious of time though, so we've only got a couple of minutes left. I want to hit the final headline very briefly so that we can then get to our giveaway of $500 in partnership with Yeet. So let's get to that. Just a quick bit of news. The final headline today is that USDai is partnering with PayPal to integrate PYUSD as a settlement asset for AI infrastructure financing to support adoption. PayPal and USDai are launching a customer incentive program offering 4.5% on up to $1 billion in USDai deposits, expected to begin in January 2026. The founder had this to say: "This is a big step in our vision to not just own the AI CapEx financing space, but to win all of commerce within the AI space. This builds on PayPal's work with OpenAI and other AI partners in the space. We've got some great use cases we'll be showcasing over the month." So that is interesting. I continue to think this is interesting. It's obviously a bit more risky when you're thinking about where AI CapEx has gone, how inflated it's got, and how expensive it's got. And considering that your yield is tied to that in some way, I'd like to see a higher number there to compensate you for the risk that you're taking, given that you can probably get 3-something% in Aave. So that's something I'd like to see, but I do think it is an interesting mechanic. And it's well backed as well, this project. So that is that. We are drawing towards the close of the show. Just wanted to get that information too. So let's go to the giveaway, Legendary. We've got we're partnered with Yeet, of course. We've got another Friday giveaway today. What do we need to know? There's a little bit of a twist today, from what I understand. What's the information we have to share?
There is indeed. There is the third iteration of the Big Moments tournament and challenge going on by Yeet, and this time it is a 4-week tournament with a total of 200K in prizes, and it works like that there's going to be an overall leaderboard where all of the points carry over the entire 4 weeks, but at the same time there's also head-to-head tournaments, and we, the Modern Market, are paired against the Podogos. In this matchup, we are leading with 125K on our side versus 77K on their side. And the default share is basically 50% of the price pool, in this case 1K for this particular standoff, going to our community. And on the big moments.xyz side, everyone who is on the leaderboard can also take a look what that price share would mean for the points that they have farmed. So this is something that is ongoing for the next 4 weeks. With that being said, what is also going on is, of course, our own giveaway, $500 this week. Taking a look at the Yeet board, we have a Funky doing his usual 25K in volume, followed by Atari got 11K, followed by J Miles, 8K in volume. J Miles DM'd me again yesterday saying the legendary thing of give all my entries to Funky. And we put together the list of names for the wheel of names, did some volume weighting. We are ready to do the last $500 giveaway of this year. So
Let's do it. Let's see who's
wheel.
taking it away. Christmas special going to someone in particular.
This is Funky. There's 5 Funkies. There's no way Funky's not taking that. There we go. We have a winner. Funky it is for this week.
Funky gets his little Yeet stimulus to continue the game. He thought he might have been running out of gambling funds over the holidays. That is not the case. So congrats to Funky. That will be sorted and with you hopefully before the weekend ends. Congrats to you. Thanks so much for participating. Thanks for everyone participating in not just this partnership. Of course, we run a variety of partnerships with different people. We're putting out all different types of content across the board all the time. Thank you so much for participating and engaging and just joining us on this journey over, well, multiple years, but no matter when you've joined us, we appreciate you coming on board with us. Ledge, any final thoughts, anything people need to know from the partnership perspective? Any other thoughts as we close out here? Maybe a final thought from Ledge, final thought from Bread, and then I'll close out.
From the partnership perspective, just for you, Funky, to know nothing you need to do on your end. The win will be sorted. And from the general reflection perspective and the show perspective, one of the things I'm really excited for is bringing back guests in January and exploring our curiosity there. We are pretty how do I say it without spoiling too much? We're working on a pretty sick lineup of people to bring to the show. Let's put it like that. So I'm looking forward to that a lot after the break.
Me too. Whilst it might look like we are taking a break over the holidays, we're just not going to be on the show. We are in heads down prepping mode. Bread, any final message before we head out today?
No, just everyone to take care of themselves. And like the holiday, everyone forces themselves to probably work through stuff. I'm speaking to myself and even us. It's just like, but like you should take the time. You should see family. You should recuperate. We're going to be here. So like take advantage of the time.
Take advantage of the time. Every now and again, you do have to take some time. This industry, the way that we operate, whether it's in this specific industry, whether it's chasing the kind of self-sovereignty, the financial freedom that we've been going after for so long, it really does take it out of you. There are not that many people who understand. I do think we've managed to create a great group of people together who are kind of in it with the same goals, who have similar values, who understand each other above all else, and the goals that we're trying to achieve. So yes, we'll be off over the next 2 weeks. We hope you've enjoyed the show up until now. We'll be back on the first Monday of January. But we'll still be in the Telegram, and we know that some people have applied to be in the Telegram. The way you do that is send a message to the Modern Market Twitter account. We will get you in over the holidays. We have more than 220 people in that Telegram. It's free. That's just for the community, people choosing to be there, all kinds of great people in there sharing their journeys and sharing their ideas and thoughts on the market. So we'll still be active there over the break. I hope to see you in there. If you've already applied, we'll get you in there ASAP. And we wish you a wonderful Christmas break. Happy New Year, and we'll see you on the other side. Bye-bye.